Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life.
He would invite over a lot of like Hollywood's elite to his house for a basketball game, but it was men only. And they would be like, oh, we're just gonna and play basketball.
So one day I flipped it on him and showed up in it was town car days. I had a town car. Popped out the town car with a camera. Said, yo, Puff, yo, you gotta let me film this.
It's no secret that Sean Combs and Oprah Winfrey have long been accused of cozying up to the elites. But y'all, things just took a jaw-dropping turn. Word on the street is that they might have had a hand in Jamie Foxx's mysterious medical emergency. Yep, the same one that had him MIA for months. And here's where it gets wild. This all allegedly went down right after Jamie started spilling the tea on Diddy's infamous parties. Coincidence? T.I. doesn't think so. In fact, he's stepping up with receipts to back up these explosive reports. Buckle up, because this isn't just gossip. It's a scandal that could blow the lid off Hollywood's darkest secrets. The deck is seriously stacked against Sean Combs, and things are heating up fast. As more allegations surface about his history of violence and coercion, one incident from the past is making a dramatic comeback. And T.I. allegedly witnessed the whole thing. Yes, we're talking about the infamous 1999 A on Interscope Records executive Stephen Stout. An attack that's almost too brutal to believe. And word on the street is that T.I. might be ready to testify in court about what he saw.
Combs attacked a record executive back in 1999. I'm talking about Interscope record executive Stephen Stout.
And this all centered around the music video Hate Me Now by...
According to reports, Diddy stormed into Stout's office, fists flying, using a telephone as a weapon, and then his crew allegedly jumping in to wreak absolute havoc. This wasn't just a heated argument, it was a vicious beatdown caught on CCTV, leaving Stout hospitalized and shaken. The fallout? A felony arrest, anger management classes, and a $500,000 payout from Diddy to Stout, all wrapped in a legal bow to keep things quiet. At the time, Stephen himself recounted the moments that led to the incident, and as you could expect, Diddy blew off on him because he didn't get his way. Stout said, "He punched me in the face, and then he grabbed the phone and bashed me in the head with it. One minute, I'm in the middle of a meeting, and the next minute, I'm down on the floor, and Puffy and his guys are kicking and pounding me. One of them picks up a chair and throws it at me. Then Puffy throws my desk over, and then they just walk out like nothing happened." Believe it or not, at the time when everyone was covering for Diddy, it was Stout that had the gall to call Diddy out on his mafia-like business practices. If this kind of behavior is allowed to go unpenalized, it'll be like an invitation for extortion in the music business. If someone can get away with walking into the headquarters of the world's biggest record company and beating up a senior executive over a disagreement, I guarantee you this is going to be a great business for criminals to thrive in. Yeah, that took serious guts. But since Diddy was the Hollywood baby, all his crimes were pardoned. But that won't be the case this time around. With T.I. reportedly willing to take the stand, this decades-old scandal could be Diddy's undoing. If T.I. shares his first-hand account, it might not just confirm Stout's claims, it could also paint a pattern of violent behavior that's central to the charges Diddy is already facing. And let's be real, adding this to the mix of ST, racketeering, and other explosive accusations, the courtroom in May 2025 is bound to be one of Hollywood's most dramatic showdowns yet. Not only that, the word has it that T.I. was a close friend to Stout, and at one point, he confided in T.I. saying, "I was laying there on the floor bleeding. My jaw and my head were all swollen. I couldn't move my arm. It was a traumatic experience, and in the middle of it, I didn't know exactly how to feel. I was upset, embarrassed, scared, angry. As far as I'm concerned, this was an attempt on my life. The only reason I'm not dead is because they missed." TMZ is turning up the heat in Sean Combs' ongoing legal saga with explosive new developments. Reports reveal that at least 2 new individuals, both currently S workers, are stepping forward to cooperate with federal prosecutors. This could be a major game changer in the case. According to TMZ executive producer Charles Ladebaudiere, one of these witnesses claims to have had a direct interaction with Diddy in 2014 and is now ready to spill all the details to the feds. Even more compelling, the second individual has already been subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury, which means their statements could play a pivotal role in building the case against the hip-hop mogul.
Clearly, they're trying to figure out what these other witnesses know and how they can help them convict Diddy, and that's the name of the game at this point.
With U.S. Attorney Damian Williams doubling down on his promise of an ongoing investigation, it's clear that prosecutors are digging deep to gather as much evidence and witness testimony as possible. As the walls close in, Diddy's legal troubles seem far from over, and these new witnesses might just tip the scales. But if that doesn't do it, this next tidbit will. You see, Sean Combs is back in the spotlight with a new chapter of the documentary TMZ presents The Downfall of Diddy, streaming on Tubi. This chapter dives deep into allegations surrounding his infamous high-profile parties, where disturbing claims of substance use, obscene acts, and even the presence of minors have surfaced. While these allegations paint a grim picture, Diddy's legal team has vehemently denied them, labeling the accusations as baseless. Meanwhile, Diddy is making headlines for filing yet another bail request, citing changed circumstances and new evidence as grounds to prepare for his May trial outside of jail. They're even trying to get the jury to reveal the identities of victims. But this isn't just about Diddy. There's a surprising twist involving Jamie Foxx. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with Jamie? Well, it turns out Jamie was among the few brave voices speaking out about Diddy's controversial lifestyle. Now, with Diddy's legal team allegedly attempting to reveal key identities in the case, Jamie's name might be dragged into the chaos. If that happens, the backlash Jamie could face might lead to a complete industry boycott. Why? Because at the end of the day, Diddy isn't just another celebrity. He's been a central figure in the industry deeply connected to the elites. And if Jamie's involvement puts him on the wrong side of these power players, the consequences could be devastating. So back in April last year, fans were shocked to learn that Jamie Foxx had been hospitalized in Georgia due to a mysterious medical complication. Details were scarce, but the news was confirmed by Jamie's daughter, Corinne Foxx, who took to Instagram to share an update on behalf of the family. We wanted to share that my father, Jamie Foxx, experienced a medical complication yesterday. Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. We know how beloved he is and appreciate your prayers. The family asks for privacy during this time. While the family statement aimed to calm concerns, reports from sources close to the situation painted a far grimmer picture. According to insiders, Jamie had spoken to the police from his hospital bed, claiming his medical emergency wasn't a natural occurrence, but the result of someone targeting him. This explosive allegation sent shockwaves through his fan base, with one Twitter user remarking, "Jamie Foxx told the cops somebody is trying to unalive him. I'm telling you, man, it's like they have a timer on these celebs' lives." I believe him. And Jamie's condition wasn't something to brush off. TMZ reported that it was critical, with many fearing he might not pull through. In fact, his close friends and family reportedly flew in from overseas to be by his side, fueling speculation about just how serious things had gotten. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. This medical emergency happened not long after Jamie started speaking out about the behind-the-scenes debauchery at Diddy's infamous parties.
Bad enough that family members from outside of Atlanta, there were some in Atlanta, but family members from outside flew in and rushed to the hospital to be by.
Fans couldn't help but find it odd that Jamie Foxx's family and PR team remained tight-lipped about the exact cause of his sudden health scare. With nothing but vague updates during his 2-month hiatus, speculation ran wild. And then out of nowhere, Jamie made his return to social media with a heartfelt video message addressing the ordeal. "Thank you a billion to everybody. Been a long road, but all the prayers, great people, and God got me through," he shared, visibly emotional. But what really caught attention was Jamie's reasoning for keeping his recovery under wraps. "I know a lot of people were waiting or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want you to see me like that, man. I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke, doing a movie, television show. I just didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was going to make it through." In the same video, Jamie took the opportunity to shut down some of the wilder rumors circulating about his health, like claims of paralysis and vision loss. "As you can see, my eyes are working. The eyes are working just fine. I'm not paralyzed, but I went to hell and back, and my road to recovery had some potholes as well, but I'm coming back and I'm able to work." While his message was uplifting, fans were still left with more questions than answers. Why was the entire situation so secretive? And why, after 2 months of radio silence, did Jamie suddenly reappear to clear the air, but still avoided specifics? Listen, if Diddy can beat up record executives without batting an eye, I believe he can do anything. But wait, it gets worse. T.I. just claimed that Oprah Winfrey was allegedly working with Diddy as a constant supplier of minors for the infamous nude basketball games Diddy used to throw. And that's not all. According to T.I., Jamie Foxx was allegedly present at these games, not just as an attendee, but as someone who reportedly recording the shocking events.
If you want to know like who was probably at these games, just look at like who P. Diddy and Jamie Foxx have been hanging around for years. Especially
these claims, if true, paint a horrifying picture of the lengths to which Diddy and his alleged associates went to keep their parties as exclusive and outrageous as possible. T.I.'s accusations have cast an even darker shadow on Diddy's already tarnished image, raising questions about who else might have been involved and to what extent. And Jamie's alleged role in documenting these games, that might explain why after all these years he became a target. Could it be that Jamie was holding on to explosive evidence and someone wanted to make sure it never saw the light of day? The connections here are chilling and raise more questions about the people in Diddy's inner circle. For Oprah, a woman who has built her empire on empowerment and philanthropy, the allegations connecting her to Diddy's nude basketball games are a shocking revelation that has left fans and critics alike questioning everything. These claims, along with her associations with figures like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and now Sean Diddy Combs, have many wondering what dark secrets lie beneath the surface of her carefully curated public image. Oprah's close ties to Harvey Weinstein became infamous after actress Katie and Noble shared that Oprah's endorsement made her feel safe, only for Weinstein to lure her into a hotel where he allegedly assaulted her. When the scandal broke, Oprah tried to pivot, claiming ignorance to his crimes, but musician Seal wasn't buying it. His public call-out of her complicity was scathing. "Oh, I forgot, that's right. You heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses, who in turn had no idea what they were getting into. My bad. When you've been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution." Interestingly, Seal faced sudden battery charges just days after speaking out against Oprah. The timing was suspicious, and while those charges were quickly dropped, the message was clear. Calling out the powerful has its risks. Oprah's connections to Epstein further deepen the controversy. Despite damning evidence and testimonies tying numerous high-profile individuals to Epstein's operations, Oprah's name and appearances at his events have largely flown under the radar. Even her association with Diddy's scandalous parties, where minors were reportedly present, raises serious concerns. Let's not forget the scandal surrounding Oprah's South African Leadership Academy for Girls. Meant to be a safe haven, the school was rocked by allegations of by a dormitory matron. Oprah's swift legal maneuvers and out-of-court settlements ensured this case didn't tarnish her image too publicly.
Something strange is going on with Oprah Winfrey's South African School for Girls.
Go look and see what happened to them girls.
But the cracks in her reputation are starting to show, and people are asking, how has Oprah managed to avoid serious accountability for so long? The mainstream media's silence on her involvement in these scandals only fuels suspicion, leaving smaller outlets and social media to shine a light on what others refuse to expose. Some industry insiders have also raised their voices against this, although they didn't get the attention for corporate service reasons, like the time British actress Katie and Noble exposed Oprah and Naomi Campbell for helping Harvey Weinstein trick her.
With Naomi Campbell, he had Oprah Winfrey there with him, who entered the room and was swinging off his arm and just seemed like a very dear friend.
The narrative is shifting, and for someone as powerful as Oprah, the days of sidestepping controversy may finally be over. The real question is, will she face the consequences this time, or will her empire of influence continue to shield her? Let's take a moment to talk about Oprah's connection to someone whose actions have left people horrified. John of God. Remember him? This self-proclaimed spiritual healer from Brazil managed to gain international attention, and Oprah was right there to amplify his reach. She didn't just admire his so-called healing powers from afar. Oprah went to Brazil, met the man in person, and gave him a massive platform by featuring him on her show. This case wasn't a casual endorsement either. Oprah stayed in touch with John of God for years, singing his praises as if he were a saint. But then the truth came out, and it was more than shocking. It was downright sickening.
Every time I've heard about him or talked about him or even written about him in the magazine, it has been through somebody else's eyes.
Right.
And I keep hearing these stories and hearing
I had a direct experience.
John of God was exposed for running what can only be described as a nightmare operation. The man was accused of child and human trafficking, forcing women into captivity, to have his babies, and chaining them to walls. These women were treated as if they were nothing more than tools in his twisted operation. It was beyond horrifying.
A celebrity faith healer whose followers claim he can miraculously cure diseases such as cancer. But now, the once beloved guru is accused of hundreds of women.
So how did Oprah respond to this earth-shattering revelation? Surely someone with her platform who had publicly endorsed this man would have something to say, right? Wrong. Oprah reacted as if none of this ever happened. When the scandal broke, instead of issuing a statement or addressing her involvement, she quietly deleted the videos of John of God from her website. No apology, no accountability, just poof. He was erased from her public association, as if their connection had never existed. And despite the magnitude of John of God's crimes, the U.S. media barely touched on Oprah's involvement with him. There were no investigative deep dives, no major headlines questioning why one of the most powerful women in media had championed a man who turned out to be a monster. It's almost like Oprah operates in a bubble of immunity, where her image is untouchable no matter the company she keeps. But for those who have been paying attention, this isn't just about bad judgment or unfortunate associations. It's part of a disturbing pattern of Oprah aligning herself with questionable individuals, then conveniently distancing herself once the truth comes to light. How long can someone skate by with this much smoke surrounding their so-called legacy? The buzz is growing louder, and it's pointing right at Oprah again. Word has it that she didn't just align herself with questionable figures like John of God. Oprah allegedly cozied up to none other than Diddy himself. Yes, the same Diddy whose controversial lifestyle and alleged crimes are now plastered all over the headlines. Insiders suggest that Oprah was more than willing to turn a blind eye to Diddy's darker side when it served her interests. The glamorous parties, the networking opportunities, the mutual boosting of their public images, it was all part of the game. Oprah allegedly played along, enjoying the perks of their association while leaving the public none the wiser about what might really have been going on behind closed doors. But here's the story that's becoming all too familiar. Just like with John of God, Oprah's loyalty seems to vanish the moment the spotlight turns ugly. Now that Diddy's alleged crimes are making headlines, Oprah has seemingly gone radio silent, separating herself from the chaos. Her presence, once visible and vocal, have suddenly become scarce. That's all for today. We hope you liked that video, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.